Hey, this is Fisha from Atlanta, and through long days, I'm locked into my boy DJ J Thrill on Global R&B Radio. He plays the best music.
You're in the mix on the Red Light Basement. Yeah. With your boy, DJ J Thrill.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the Red Light Basement. You are here live and in full effect. We have DJ J Thrill. You still with me?
Yeah. Thrill in the building. Rose, you know why they call me Thrill, right?
Why do they call you Thrill?
That's what we give the audience when we up in this basement, knocking them upside their fat freaking head for these hits.
Not the fat freaking head.
Had their toes popping like Redenbacher, just popcorn. Okay, no, go ahead. What's going on? Lord.
You are a hot mess, but I love it. So we're going to go right into our very next segment. This is something that has been honestly I feel like the flavor of the month. Whenever I go on social media, I see a lot of posts that talk about marriage, and they talk about how you can prioritize marriage and how you can just do the most to make your partner feel like important, right? So I know that most of the time, whenever we are here in the Red Light Basement, we laugh and we joke about a lot of different things, but sometimes we like to get into real stuff. We like to talk about real stuff, everyday type things. So
Gotcha.
We want to give you guys some substance and a little food for thought. So today we are going to talk about why prioritizing marriage matters.
So when you say prioritizing marriage, are we saying that people these single people out here need to stop shacking up and they need to go get married? Or are you saying people that are already married, how they need to put their marriage at the forefront of importance in their minds?
Well, here's the thing. I don't want to say that I don't have an opinion about people who are single or unmarried who are shacking up, but I want to speak specifically on the people who are married. And the only reason why I say that is because that is like where I'm coming from, right?
Okay.
So I feel like my advice personally is going to be more relevant to that demographic versus those who are shacking up. However, those who are shacking up or those who are in serious relationships, living together, engaged, whatever, they can also take part in this as well because they are in committed relationships.
I thought
they're not exempt from this.
We're going to come back to your shacking behinds later on.
You're living in sin.
So what you got for them, bro? What's on your heart about these prioritizing marriage? What you got?
I have been looking at these videos, and one of the things about me, I love the fact of the age that I am. I love the fact that when I grew up, there really was no social media until I became a teenager. So I kind of got the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We kind of had to learn from the older generation. But then when social media came, social media became like a whole nother sort of plethora of education and relevance, right?
Yeah.
And so lately I've been looking at all these different posts that talks about how important it is to really fill up your cup as a married person.
Okay.
And the types of things that are needed whenever you're in a marriage. And I talk with my husband about a lot of these different things. And it's really refreshing because I've been married now for about, August will be.
You better get it right.
Let me make sure it's 2025, right? So August will be 8 years for me married.
We prioritizing marriage and you don't know exactly. You supposed to be spitting that out 8 years.
Listen, I think at the top of this episode, I said that I was on some vino. Okay. So I need you to just give me some grace.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
It's all good. So collectively, my husband and I have been together for 13 years. We've been married for 7.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like, when you are married for so long, I say for so long, it's been 7.5. But for so long, you feel like you're kind of at a plateau almost.
Okay.
You feel like you've been with the same person for a long time, totally monogamous, right? Committed relationship. But you feel like you got to do things to keep it fresh. You know what I'm saying? It's like people always say that you have to like do what you did to get the person. But I feel like I do subscribe to that type of thinking, but I think that you have to always be innovative no matter what. And that's where they say like marriage is work, right? Mm-hmm. So I really want to talk about like the importance of a strong marital foundation for personal happiness, for that stability and that long-term fulfillment. Because
I'm back. So tell me one thing, or give me one thing right off the top that you do to establish a good marital foundation. One thing from you. I'm
Okay,
throwing you
let
on
me
the
tell you. I'm gonna just tell you something, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. Okay,
spot.
this is the type of advice that you really won't hear anywhere else.
It's working for you for 8 years. Go ahead.
It's been working for me, right? So I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
give you ladies. I know you're listening. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some advice. Okay, especially for my ladies who subscribe to the old school frame of thinking. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I want you ladies to, for a second, just think about the fact that everything doesn't rely on the man. The man isn't necessarily responsible for everything. I'm going to tell you a piece of advice that I actually follow, and I've been doing since I've been dating, and it's still working for me to this day. And
Okay.
our marriage counselor actually laughed at me because I said I do this. I hit on my husband on a daily basis. Okay.
Ooh.
I totally hit on him.
Little nasty.
Go ahead.
He calls me that too. But I totally hit on my husband. And the funny thing is that I don't just hit on him for me. I hit on him for him, right? So
Explain it.
This is the thing. I hit on him for me for empowerment.
Okay.
Okay. So whenever I hit on him, it sort of empowers me in a way to remind myself that I don't necessarily have to rely on him to make the first move. That if I'm willing and able and ready to do whatever I want to do at that time, that is my time and my space to express how I feel with him. And I can be completely transparent in the way that I feel. And I can let him know, like, hey, this is how I feel about you. And you're going to know about it in real time. Okay. Now, for him, it flatters him. But not in a simp kind of a way, because I know how you get down with your little simp comments. Okay,
I don't see
DJ
that.
Maythrill.
I'm quick to call somebody simp, but I don't see that in any way simp. I feel like that is a good thing to like. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's just a good way. That is what you call like it's one of the acts of service. So the acts of love. What's the love language? Which one?
Oh, don't ask me.
It was the one about words of affirmation. Even just hitting on that's a word of affirmation. That's somebody's love language. You know what I'm saying? So
a more fleshly and physical experience, it could be a groping of the butt. It could very well be that. Because when I hit on my husband, he knows I'm hitting on him. It's not like a question. I'm not like lightly flirting with you. I'm really hitting on you, and I'm letting you know. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to lead to something. But I'm keeping the spice up. I'm keeping it alive. I'm keeping it hot. Like, you're going to know that I'm checking you out. I like the way you look today. That shirt looks good. You know, your tie matches. Whatever it is, I'm going to let you know that you got something going on, and I see you. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like it's empowering for the female, but I think it's also flattering for the male as well. And don't get me wrong, I'm not necessarily stating that because I like to hit on my husband, that's just the way that our marriage primarily goes, because it doesn't go that way. It's definitely a very give and take. But with the marriage counselor, I let him know up front that was one of the things that I actually like to do, because I like to see my man be flattered. Absolutely. I like to see him kind of like almost sometimes speechless with some of the things that I say, because he'll be like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that, but I'm not mad, because my husband, although he likes to take control, there are certain times that he likes it when I take control.
So what is that? How do you get there? That is just knowing your partner, and a way of effectively communicating together, so y'all know what each other like. Right. So ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, so let me hop in here a little bit, because
I said a lot.
Some things that I need. I would say some things that I need to work on, because I will admit, being a married for 17 years, that I have some good strong points. You know, I give words of affirmation. I do acts of service. But one thing I do, I'm easily distracted, and I think after 17 years, you could be easily distracted, and you get into like you said at the beginning, you get into that plateau. You get into that routine, and you forget things. You know, you forget the things that you're not dating or courting your spouse anymore. So one thing that I'm easily distracted by, like, I am not in the moment. And when I say I'm not in the moment, it means like I'm like lost in my social media and or digital distractions, right? And I told you this, Rose, because you were like, you're not on social media no more. Like, nah, I'm off of social media because my wife and my children brought it to my attention. Like, Daddy, babe, you always on the phone. Yeah, why I was on the phone? I was doing it for these people listening to the station right here.
Don't you be blaming it on my people.
Trying to find things to talk about on this air, try to have good conversations. But I was easily distracted. I was not in the moment. So when you when you are in this marriage, when you are in a marriage, you need to be in the moment with your spouse. Even continue to do that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I can say. And make intentional quality time. So you talked about that you constantly hit on your husband.
Yes.
One thing I try to do now is I constantly seek, especially now that I'm not distracted by the world of digital distractions or social media. I try to be intentional with quality time, going out. Like we went to the movies and we seen Magazine Dream last weekend, or just taking the dog to the dog park, walking around and let the dog run around. Is it small? Is it a small gesture? Yes. Trying to go out on the dates, go out and eat. So be intentional because I can tell you, after 16 years, sometimes you get to thinking about yourself, and that's when marriages start to fade. So be intentional of spending quality time with your boo.
Yeah.
Now tell me, Rose, tell me a good, how are you and your spouse good at effective communication? Is that something that y'all actively work on, or y'all is just natural for y'all?
That's an easy answer. We are not effective at effective communication. The funny thing is, after so many years together, we're still learning, which it's odd because you would think as long as we've been together that we're still trying to figure it out.
But that's good that you constantly trying to figure it out and not just letting it go. Though you're working with each other trying to work it out. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. The funny thing is that when people say that marriage is work, I never really understood that. Like, I was like, what do you mean marriage is work? Like, what does that mean exactly? But I didn't understand it until I am going through it. I'm going to say that because I'm still trying to understand it. I'm still trying to learn him and what it is that he needs. He's the type of person where he doesn't always bring to the surface his feelings and his thoughts. Like, he's more, I don't want to say like simple, but I feel like I'm more complicated. I'll say that. I just feel like I'm more complicated, and I feel like I have to bring everything to the surface. We have to talk about it. And he's more like, I don't really need all of that you need. So for us to kind of meet in the middle is a little bit difficult because after 13 years, we still are trying to almost like make our median, which I always say. But I think we do a pretty good job of it because we are very compatible. Yeah. And we do talk a lot about our feelings and where we are in the moment. But I have to try to think outside of myself. And I have to try to understand him a little bit better. And that's where it becomes a little bit more difficult because it's more of a growth thing for me. Because I have to go outside of myself to understand another individual. And likewise for him, because he's not used to the transparency necessarily, because he just kind of says what he says and he's that's it. Where I'm like, but I need to understand why you think that way. So that's just the difficult part of it. But I think it's still a beautiful thing nonetheless. But it's just more so about learning the other person and figuring out where it is we can meet in the middle. So there's some sort of even compromise and that we're good and that we're stable.
Hey, so you know what? We're gonna have to continue this conversation. When we come back from the double play of the day, when we come back from this break, we're gonna continue this conversation because so far we done talked about being intentional with your quality time. We done talked about keeping always reigniting the intimacy inside your marriage. We done talked about effective communication. We done talked about what you said? You said something. Continuously learning each other within your marriage.
Yes,
that's good all in itself. When we come back from the double play, We're gonna continue this conversation. Global R&B 96.3. Let's go ahead and do this double play of the day.
It's time for double play of the day with DJ J Thrill.
DJ J Thrill.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, I'm feeling this R&B group. It's from the 90s. I know a lot of y'all forgot about them, but it's still hot. Double play today is from the group Intro. I'm gonna play. You know what? We're definitely gonna come inside. Global R&B. Let's get into it.
This is your girl T. You are now tuned into my favorite DJ, DJ J Thrill, in the Red Light Basement.
You're catching the thrill through your speaker box. You're banging the hits with Mr. Make It Happen himself, DJ J Thrill.
J Thriller, whatever you want to call me, just don't call me Lane. All right, we back in the Red Light. I'm still kicking it here with my sis, my player partner, my road dog, the beautiful, the delectable, the intelligent, the old, so savvy, and always. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep talking, but you know, Rose.
You can keep going if you want to.
Is a woman
I'm not gonna stop you.
She's so smart. She does. Hey, thank you for chopping up with me here in the Red Light Basement. Me and my co-host. Can't thank you enough. Before we went on this break, we were talking about prioritizing marriage.
Of course.
Rose gave you a lot of advice. And one thing, you know, let me hop in here and let me give a little conversation. One of the things that I want to talk about when prioritizing marriage is protecting your boundaries. What I mean by that, you got to be able to say no to certain things to protect, you know, for yourself and for your marriage. Me, for example, when I say protecting your boundaries, saying no to like excessive work. Me, Rose, me and Rose, we talked throughout the day, and we text and we be bouncing ideas off each other. And like Rose said, she said #workaholic, and she didn't lie. I'm a workaholic. I'm always trying to find. I'm researching things. Looking up topics, and researching those topics, trying to find audio for y'all so that y'all can put it together. I'm obsessively working, and in doing that, sometimes, like we said earlier, I'm not in the moment with my family or my wife, so I'm putting other things in unnecessary commitments, even though this is very necessary because y'all need us. Y'all need the Red Light Basement. Putting unnecessary commitments ahead of your marriage. Never ever do that. You need to prioritize. If we say that's the point of this conversation, prioritize your marriage, because if you don't do that, what does that do? That creates a word that we talked about earlier when I said that old boy need to leave that porn star. It creates resentment, and once you get to that point of resentment or emotional, she's gonna resent you and create another thing called emotional distance. So she's in the room with you, but emotionally she's not with you. She is elsewhere because you have put other things above her or above him, for whatever the case may be. Because men are emotional creatures too. Although we try not to admit it. We are emotional creatures too. So prioritize your marriage above working excessively, or that's why you got to protect your boundaries. I'm always at work. And even when I don't have to go to work, if my if my boss called me like, hey, so and so, because you know you're not gonna get my government name, y'all. You handle this for me, they know that I'm going to get it done because that's what I do. I work. And there was a point in my marriage in the early years that I was always at work. The army was the army, and the army was everything. Did I love the army? No, but I love what it did for me to be able to provide for my family. So I wanted to be the best doggone soldier that you ever saw, right? But who suffered? My wife. Now, some things that y'all say it's the army. She got in. She's a military spouse. She knew what she was getting into. Yes, but some things I didn't have to volunteer for. I volunteered for a lot of things just so I could, because I felt like that was what I had to do. But she was by herself. She was lonely. I didn't have to go take these extra assignments. You know what I'm saying? I just went and did it because I just felt like I had to be the best. But I wasn't prioritizing her. You feel what I'm saying? So, like I said, that creates resentment. That creates emotional distance. No, but what you? I'm rambling. What you got, Rose?
No, I mean, that's truth though. That's real talk, because I'm like, whenever you prioritize your career over anything else or anyone else, especially when you are married, that's like a huge deal, because you know that the person
Yeah.
that you committed to is going to be feeling that void of you not being there. And on top of
Mm.
that, we're talking about a woman who's feeling that void, right? Because we're emotional creatures. And when we don't have our loved one there, when we don't have our spouse there, like our other half,
That's a
we
fact.
almost feel like half
Yeah.
of us is gone, you know? That's huge. And it's like, for us, we feel like we don't want to be without our partner. We don't want to be without our husbands. And the fact that you're gone is just kind of like, oh, I mean, it sucks. It sucks. Nobody really wants to be in that situation. But at the same time, we kind of like grit our teeth. We kind of put our head down and we do what we need to do to be able to get through this time, because we understand that whatever you have to do is important to you, for you to advance your career and be better as a person who is serving the community, and doing what you need to do. So it's tough, but at the same time, I feel like there's a sacrifice on both parts, but it's important, I think, to just sort of stick together, to stay in communication with one another, to remind each other that you both are
Absolutely.
kind of like those two
Rose,
halves that make that
I'm
whole.
sorry.
If that makes
I
sense.
know I gotta cut you off, but we gotta wrap this up, because it's almost the end of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, that under the sound of our ear. You know what? One last thing, Rose, before we go. Another thing in marriage, ladies and gentlemen, support.
Sure.
I want if you give me 1 minute, Rose, I want to shout my wife out, because through over almost 20 years in the military, she has and she supported me through my career, and through the last decade of doing this station, she has supported my dreams of doing this, of owning my own radio station and my own station. So shout out to you. And I had to do that real quick. So support goes a long way inside of marriage. Support each other, support
I love it.
life decisions, and support dreams. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you are here, same time, same place, next Tuesday. We might continue this conversation. We definitely got to continue this conversation in the near future. But Rose, it is, Rose. I thank you for chopping it up right here in the Red Light Basement.
I like it.
I appreciate you, bringing the bottle of wine, kicking your shoes off, and relaxing, and just having some good conversation. And most
absolutely.
Hey,
I'll bring it next week too.
I 100% thank you for what the most important thing that we do on radio station, and that is entertaining the people.
For sure. Absolutely. Listen, I dedicate this bottle and this glass of Taylor Port to you and your wife. Thank you so much for your support.
Toast to you and your husband.
You guys are amazing.
I'm gonna go get it. When we get off air, I'm gonna go drink and toast to you. You won't see it, but hey, same time, same place, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Red Light Basement. Go. Make sure that you keep it locked. Don't you dial off. Stay locked in for Global R&B After Dark. We got the smooth groove. We got the slow jams. That's gonna set the mood right for prioritizing your marriage, as we say. Global R&B. Here's the motivational get up. We see you same time, same place next week. And we're gone.
Hello, world. It's time for your motivational get up with DJ J Thrill. DJ J Thrill. What's up, guys? You want to get some more exclusive content? You need to like and subscribe to the Global R&B 96.3 YouTube channel. I'll be waiting.